kind of like a lot of light coming in the back here. Hold on. Maybe this might be a little better. There we go. Just making sure that we got a good feed here. Just making sure that we got a good feed here. I think we do. We do. I'm here right now in the Dominican Republic, North Coast, chilling out. Let me just cross my legs and get comfortable. Grab my coffee over here. Guys, what in the world is going on in Hollywood? So I know you guys, if you didn't, you might have heard about Cassie. Cassie's getting sued. I already did a live about that. But now we also have Perry. Tyler Perry. Like, Tyler Perry is, I don't know what's going on with these people. These people in Hollywood. I think that they just keep setting themselves up for disaster. You know? Have you noticed that? The whole entire... Oops, hold on. It's like these people, you know, get themselves into some positions that just don't make sense. So now, Cassie, take away the fact that you may not like Diddy. Take away the fact that you may be Team Cassie or Team Diddy. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. I just got off a motorcycle. I took motorcycle taxi over to the restaurant where I'm at right now in Sosua, North Coast, Dominican Republic. I'm going to be meeting a couple of friends for dinner, but I had to come and go on live first with you guys because we got to chit chat. We really have to chit chat. What's going on here? Oh my God, them. Hello. Hello. How you guys doing? I don't have my glasses on. They're all deviants. You know, Hollywood. Hola. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so let's first talk about Cassie. She's being sued by one of the entertainers. They didn't even refer to those guys as prostitutes. They referred to them as entertainers whenever they would buy, like not buy them, but pay them. Escorts, that's what they would call them, right? So they became prostitutes in the court of law. As soon as Cassie told how much money she actually got from Diddy, that was it. It was on. That's when, because you know, this is the thing. People hear that you win the lottery, right? And they're like, okay, but when they hear the amount, that is when the snakes start to come out of their holes. And I'm not calling these prostitutes snakes either, because they are men, but they got paid. They got paid for their time, and they got paid good as well, as by what they say. They got paid very well. One of the guys, Clayton Howard, he said that he got paid very well. He was a prostitute, an escort, we'll say escort. He was an escort for 2 years, And he said that he kept being an escort because Diddy and Cassie were paying him so well. So if Diddy and Cassie was paying him so well, then why is he going after her? I don't think she should have gotten all that money anyway, now that all the truth came out and we know the truth behind what really happened. It wasn't what the media said. There was no medication in that baby oil at all. There was nobody being like substances put in people's drinks, at least there. Like in court, they weren't talking about that. He wasn't sleeping with any men. So I think Diddy paid her off just to hide the fact that they were doing those intimacy parties for like 3 days in a row and he's addicted to substances. I think Diddy was trying to do damage control and he paid her handsomely for what? Just, I mean, who? God, look, I'm getting myself some baby oil. As soon as I get myself a man, I'm like, I want to know what that's like to slip and slide a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Um, and not only that, Glide, these are really, at the end of the day, we know all the truth now. At the end of the day, it all came out in a court of law, and it's not that bad, really. I don't think so anyway. It's not like Diddy was getting freaked by these dudes. It's not like Diddy was getting in on the business. He was recording his girl, and that's just a little uncomfortable anyway. There's something wrong with that. But listen, at the end of the day, he never did marry her. He never did have a child with her. He never did get in a position with her where he was keeping her forever. He was keeping her around. And now we know why. She even said prior that she was just his 10-year prostitute, right? So now when we look at it, he was paying her off. But when we look at all the information that came out, it's really not that bad. I thought there was going to be a lot of stuff. Um, so I thought there was going to be a lot of stuff, like, in the courts. But now that all that came out, I'm like, she got off scot clean with that 20, 25, 30 million. I thought she was getting off scot clean. But now one of the escorts, and I heard two of them now, are going after her for money. I don't think that they're going to get anything in a court of law. What is the escort going to say? Oh, she owes me money. What he was doing was illegal anyway. Like, what, she owes you money for you doing an illegal act? What courts are going to say, oh, buddy, you were doing an illegal act, but you know what? Yeah, you were abused, so we're going to give you some money for that. That doesn't even make sense. I think he's just doing all what he's doing right now for a little bit more clout. He's saying, Cassie talked about me in court, so now I'm going to drag her through court. Dude, all she's going to do is end up paying lawyers. She's not going to end up paying you. What did she do to you? She had intimacy with me while she was on her menstrual cycle. That's not a crime. She tricked me. I don't think so, but she did know. She did know she was on her menstrual cycle. I do believe she knew. It's not like she thought she came on it during the 48 hours or 24 hours of that lovemaking session, because I'll tell you something. In one of her text messages, she flat out says to Diddy, no, I want to have the intimacy party, if you will, right? We know what they're called, but I don't want anything flagged. No, I want to have the intimacy party, but I'm not going to have my period. I'm deciding not to have my period that day. How do you decide not to have your period that day? That's a biological thing. There's only two ways to not have your period. You're pregnant, or you are going through menopause. Those are the two ways. Now, there are other ways. If you're on the pill and you stop taking the pill for you miss a pill for the day, and your period automatically comes. And then when it automatically comes, it resets your cycle, if you will, she still would have gotten her menstrual cycle for 5 days, right? And then what? She would have not had it maybe when the intimacy party happened. But like, she's making choices to do that. Diddy never made her make that choice. And that's where I'm concerned, because I'm like, if she's willing to bend over backwards and do that, Diddy's a man. He doesn't know about all that stuff. He doesn't know, like, he probably learned that from the girls themselves, you know? Like, yo, like, you can stop your period or you can bring it at a certain time. That's like some insider's information. That's women know that stuff, not men. So, he was like, all right, you sure? And she's like, yeah. So, if that's the things that she's doing and she's planning those intimacy parties around her menstrual cycle like that, that's a woman, in my opinion, that's trying to get it. She's not trying to get out of it. When you're trying to get out of something, you say, it's my period. I got my period. That we use that excuse for everything. Okay? Especially not wanting to have intimacy. So, I don't know where she got that idea that it's okay to do that to her body, because it's not okay to do that to her body, but it sounds to me like she did it quite a lot, because Diddy was like, okay. He didn't say, what do you mean you're deciding not to have your period on that day? He knew whatever antics she was pulling to not have her menstrual cycle is something she did before. She made it possible for her to have that intimacy party. She went out of her way to make that intimacy party happen. So that makes me question her whole entire testimony. Now, when the guy, Howard Clayton, or Clayton Howard rather, he says, oh, she abused him. Brother, no one abused you. Nobody made you go to those intimacy parties. And I do believe she was trifling for, having intimacy with you and not telling you she was on Aunt Flo. I do believe that's horrible, but that just speaks about a woman's, devious, manipulative behavior. That doesn't really say that although it's gross, it really is disgusting for her to do that to you, Clayton Howard. And I can't even believe what that must have felt like afterwards. You made intimacy with her for, I don't know how long that party was for, but let's say the regular 48 hours or 24 hours. And then after it all, and she didn't want to use rubbers. And then after it all, you probably were really traumatized. I do believe there was some trauma that set in. You probably were like, oh my gosh, this woman has intimacy with so many men, and the blood was going in your manly part. That's traumatizing. That right there. I could just imagine men watching this. You're with a woman, no thousands of dollars can pay for that many hours of having intimacy and blood going in and out, whether he's circumcised or not. There's still a lot of fluids going in and out. And he's saying that she gave him an S special gift. I believe that because there was a lot of information going around Hollywood many, many years ago that Diddy had the big H word. And so that wasn't mentioned in court. The only thing that was mentioned in court was they all had these urinary tract infections. And yeah, that does happen to a woman. She gets urinary tract infections when she has too many, too much intimacy over and over again. And she can actually even get precancerous cells if she has too many partners. So I do believe that there was a lot going on with that. But, that part now, I do believe if he can prove that she knew she had the S special gift, then I do believe he can get some money from her. And I believe 100% that he will be able to. Amor, oh, amor, una más café, por favor. Una más café, por favor. I'm just at a restaurant right now here having some really good Dominican coffee. So, yeah, I do believe that if she knew she had that transmitted thing, then absolutely she would have to give up some money. And that would definitely be in medical records. He would be able to prove that easily. He already proved that whatever she did, because she said everything on the stand. I'm still wondering in my head, why in the world did she decide to go on stand? She already had her money. And she said on stand that she wasn't angry at Diddy, right? But if on stand, if she said she was angry at Diddy, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's why she took the stand, because she just wants to take the man down. You know, she really doesn't like him at all. But she said on stand that no, she's not angry at him, right? And she loved what they had. So that tells me two things. She loved the life that they had, so why did she sue him? And it tells me another thing. Why did she go on stand? It tells me that maybe she had to get immunity because she was also guilty. She was subpoenaed. And you see, this is the thing. Gina never talked about those getting escorts. I don't think he did that with Gina, and I think that's the reason why Gina could skedaddle and just skirt out on not going to court. Because remember, Gina was the one that was supposed to be the third testimony, right? And she went straight on, and she said no, she's not going. Maybe because she did not need immunity. She was not guilty. I'm shaking the table. She was not guilty of doing those intimacy parties. It could be. And so she could. Gracias, amor. Yo tengo poco aquí. Gracias. So it could be that, yeah, she was not doing those things that the other girls were doing. Hold on 1 second. And with that being said, she did not need immunity. Slip and slide type stream. Is that turquoise? No, this ring is called, and this right here is called Latimar. And Latimar is only found here in the Dominican Republic. I'm going to read a couple of more of these comments, and then I'm going to get more to that. I sub, please say my name. Lucelle, is that your name, Lucelle? It looks like it could be a Spanish name. Are you pro-Trump? I don't see your name there. And then someone else says, I'm gay, mega, mafioso. Who is this person? Hi, mafioso. Nah, just kidding, bro. Oh, no, you're not talking to me. I thought you were talking to me, mafioso, because I'm in the Dominican Republic. Mafioso means someone that is a thief. Forsaken mentioned. Okay, let's just get to, thank you, Varam, Victor Patel. And okay, you guys are just going on. Do you worship white Jesus though? Are you talking to me, Tims? Because Jesus is not white. You guys are talking to each other. I can see you guys are talking to each other here. All right. So, do I want to move to the U.S. and marry you? I'm Canadian. I don't need citizenship to leave here, to leave this country. I moved here 7 years ago. I could help you move here. I help people relocate. It's about one of the best beautiful places on the face of the earth. All right, let's get back on. We got Cassie. I believe Cassie needed immunity, and that's why that woman went on the stand. And not only that, she had to keep that money. Now, yeah, I do believe that there's a loophole there, and that the escort can definitely get money from her by saying that she was aware that she had a little ST, because she did. He said that she gave him one, and she had to have, because he didn't have intimacy with Diddy. He had intimacy with her. So he would just have to get her medical records checked out. He would have, and that wouldn't be hard. He would just get them subpoenaed, like get them all checked out, and that man will get a little bit of money in his pocket if she did give him an ST double D. Now, he said that he was an escort for 2 years before that. So he would have to prove that he got that ST double D during the time that he knew Cassie. And I guess he wouldn't really have a hard time proving that either, because he said that he was an escort for 2 years and then quit, but continued to be an escort with Diddy and Cassie. And if he got that in that time frame, then yeah. Or now, if he had any conversations with her saying like, yo, I got this from you, and she apologized, and any text messages or anything like that saying, yeah, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that you could get it or anything, and she like fessed up to it, then she definitely is going to cause problems for herself if there's any receipts from the past like that. But these escorts are going after her. They found out how much money she got in court. When they said, how much money did you get, Cassie? And she had to tell on the stand how much money she got. What? That's the thing that shocked me the most. I was like, okay, he's using some baby oil. There's no medication in the baby oil like we thought. So just take that out the closet. I'll be using some baby oil one day. And then I was like, anything else? Like, give us anything else. The most shocking thing was the amount of money that Diddy paid her to make her quiet. And that's when those workers said, cough it up. And they're going to start talking now. I don't believe that they're going to let this go anytime soon. Diddy's going to go get sentenced in October. And when he gets sentenced in October, I do believe that that's probably the same time we're going to be hearing more about Cassie. This is not going to go over easy. They're not bothering Jane Doe for any money. Why? Because Jane Doe didn't get those millions. Jane Doe just went away quietly. She must be so embarrassed. Everything that everyone's saying about her, she became not important. Everyone knows who she is. She went on stand, thought she'd be a little pissy. She thought that, oh, I'm going in as a Jane Doe. Well, girl, don't you know that everyone saw your face? Like, you'll never be a Jane Doe. Your name will be hidden and redacted from the court documents. But your face is right out in front and center. It's not like you were sitting behind a screen and you were blocked. You were sitting right on the stand. There were people in the courtroom, the overflow room, and everything. Of course they're going to talk. They didn't sign non-disclosure agreements. So this girl must be sitting back right now thinking all that was for nothing. Because when Diddy gets out, he's going to be changing his life, and he's going to be like, yeah, I got to get rid of these types of women. And I believe his life will be changed. I do believe that he is being rehabilitated right now. He's in prison. He can't get anything, like no medication. And he's doing a lot of praying. So, there's so much happens when a person is like in a monk state of mind, all alone in a cell. If he is all alone, I'm sure he is in his cell, just kind of has left to his own thoughts, reading. He's probably doing a lot of writing, probably doing a lot of writing of not books. Well, yeah, he's probably writing his own book. Now that all the truth came out, He's probably like, hell, let me write my own book. Let me tell everybody why I was doing those intimacy parties. As I would buy the book. Like, why wouldn't we? Diddy's probably writing his own book. There we go. I need to make a video about that. Diddy's writing a book behind bars. And everyone will find it interesting. Even the people who are not Diddy supporters would sit back and be like, oh, let me read it. Let me read his side of the story. Because he didn't go on stand. He did not talk. Right? So imagine his book when he comes out and he talks about really the real Cassie situation. And he comes out the gate and he says in his book, yeah, she was running me down. She really wanted to have a baby, but I knew she was an addict. And I knew that, I couldn't have a child with her because, she had some issues and stuff, but I loved her a lot, and she had my back for many years, but I knew I couldn't marry her. She wasn't marriage material, and this is why, because that's where the real deal Holyfield truth is going to come out when Diddy decides to write his book. Because whoa, and he's probably writing it right now. It only takes about 3 months to write it. I've written books, and it only takes a good 3 months to 6 months to really sit back. He probably has a recorder, if he can order one. I don't know if you can have a recorder in prison, right? I know you can't have a cell phone, but he obviously got one, and so do a lot of people. But I wonder if you're allowed to get a recorder. But he can't. Never mind recorder. He can get a pen and a piece of paper, a pad, just like he was writing down when he was on stand. You know what I'm saying? Not on stand, at the defense table. He can do his writing. He'll be writing songs. He'll rewrite that whole entire Christian album that he was working on with Little Rod. He doesn't need Little Rod any longer. So yeah, Diddy, I just realized he's probably writing the book. I'm glad I realized that today, because you guys got to believe it. When that book comes out, it's going to be a bestseller, whether you hate him or love him. People are going to buy it because he's going to release some information about Gina and why, he stuck around with her for so many years. He's going to release the information about Cassie and why he let her go and didn't fight for her when she took off with Alex. And he's going to give the real deal information about what happened when she cheated on him with Kid Cudi and how he felt about that and how it hurt him. And he will be able to write the book on whatever and let a lawyer look over it to make sure that he's not going above too much information where he could be picked up again. All right. And he's also writing songs. He's probably going to come out with one of the best albums ever. And he's probably thinking in his head some people who he would like to work with. I think we are going to be up for some new Diddy. Brother Love will be calling him when he gets out. No more Puff, no more Diddy. We'll be calling him Brother Love, BL. All right, so that's the Cassie situation. And I do believe, again, that the guy is saying that she abused him. The entertainer is saying she abused him. I don't think he was abused. He's saying he was used. I do believe he was used, but that is not a criminal offense. And not only that, I do believe that if he's saying that she gave him an STDD, then I do believe that he can prove that just by medical records. And we all know that it was rumored in Hollywood and all over the tabloids that Diddy was infected. Apparently he infected Usher. Do you remember those stories? None of those stories came out in court at all. And I think that's something I was really expecting, I just saw a guy with an Ice West walk behind you. With a what? Ice? What's that? With an S Weiss? With an Ice West? What's an Ice West? I don't know what it is. But whoever walked behind me, He works here. Um, it's I'm at a restaurant. So yeah, guys, Cassandra, if if this entertainer can sue Cassie for anything, it is going to be through medical records. It's going to be through the medical records and her giving him an ST if you get what I mean. Because he's saying that, right? And he's admitting that she gave it to him. Now, he's not saying Diddy gave it to him. He didn't get intimate with Diddy, you know? And Diddy's probably kicking himself in the butt right now behind bars. He's probably thinking, man, all the information came out and he still got off and no one's going to hate him for what he did. We all thought he was getting it on with Will Smith, and maybe he was, but none of that came out in court. So he's probably thinking to himself too, like, nothing major came out. Okay, he videoed his girl. He directed her while she was, having intimacy with someone else, two females. And that, my friends, is what Cassie is in trouble for. She is in trouble for this entertainer. And it's so interesting how this entertainer is like wanting to take her straight down. He's like, yo, you got all those millions? I'm going to get some of those millions from you. I was part and parcel of all of that. You owe me something. But again, I don't think she owes him anything at all. Unless she did give him an STDD, then she definitely should be. But that's a criminal charge. That's not a civil charge. But I guess he will civilly charge her, and then that could actually turn into a federal charge or a state charge. I don't know what it is, but sleeping with somebody unprotected, knowing that you have an STDD is serious in Canada. I don't know what the laws are in the United States, but I would say that that's so unethical, so immoral at best. At worst, I think she could get into some trouble. But then she could just turn right around and get Diddy for it. But would she know that she got it from Diddy? Anyway, let's go on to Tyler Perry now. Tyler Perry, that brother. Hold on, before we do, I just want to. Hi, Kathy. A vest, an ice vest. Van Helsing. No, he works here. What do you think being a good person means? Great question, Big Potato Frog. Is that what it says, Big Potato Frog? What do I think being a good person is? I think honesty is a very important trait to have, just in general. I don't think that anybody is perfect. I think perfection is next to impossible, whether you're bad to yourself or bad to other people, or both. I think a good person is someone who has humanity, and tries to make the best out of life, takes a negative and turns it into a positive. I think a good person is someone who thinks about others, not just themselves, I don't think it is hard to be a good person, but I do think that a bad person is deceitful. Actually, people are deceitful. It doesn't make them all bad, Just because they're deceitful, it doesn't mean they're an evil person. But I do think that that's doing a bad thing, sleeping with someone and not telling them that you are on ant flow. I think that's devious. And stopping your ant flow just so you could go have intimacy at a party like that, I think is, I don't think it's immoral. I don't think it is desperate. I just think it is illogical. Why are you going to put your body in those circumstances? Diddy wasn't forcing her to do that day. Like, he wasn't saying, we got to do it, we got to do it. And her text message saying, okay, baby, I'm going to do my best to not do my period. He said to her, do you want to do that day? And she said, I decided not to have my period. That shows intent on her behalf to go and have that intimacy party. Anyway, I already said that. I don't want to repeat that, but I don't think I don't think she's an all bad person. And I don't think she's an all good person, obviously. I just think she did a few immoral things and they can be proven. I don't think the guy's lying. I do believe that she knew. A woman knows when she's on her Aunt Flo. A woman knows. We know, right? You can sometimes feel it, and this is gross. I'm sorry. Sometimes you can feel it dripping right out of you. You know, like just like a dog. A female dog knows when it's about to drip out. You know, and they start licking their crotch. A female knows when she has her menstrual cycle. And when you are having intimacy, there's got to be a point where you get up to use the washroom. I'm pretty sure she used the washroom during that time, and she knew she had that, and I believe that she traumatized him with that. I do believe that. Now, um, yeah. So I think a good person is someone who, you know, would fess up to that and say, hey, I maybe we should use a rubber, or if you want to get real kinky, I'm on my Aunt Flo. Do you mind? Give the guy the option. But I think he, in a desperate state for money, did things that were also illegal. He's admitting to being an escort. Did he take the stand and get immunity? I don't know, right? He's admitting to being an escort. Isn't it illegal to be a prostitute? I don't know. In the United States, is it not illegal to make money selling your body? And what did he do with all those thousands of dollars? Did he claim it on his income tax? He's putting himself into some situations as well where he could also be questioned by a lawyer. Did Cassie's lawyer could say to him, you got all that money from Diddy and Cassandra. Did you claim that on your taxes? How much was it? Let's see. You had intimacy with them 5 times in 2020. So, that means you got $2,000 each time. So that's 2,000 times 5. Did you put that on your taxes? Did you claim that? So I don't think this guy's really thinking. I think he's just kind of digging a hole for himself, just like Cassie dug a hole for herself. It just seems like all of them are not really thinking too hard at all, not at all. And so, but I feel bad for the guy that he does have an STDD, and I feel bad for the guy that he is probably traumatized a little, having intimacy with her. That probably traumatized him for a long time when he saw the blood. And then he's like, oh my gosh, I just spent how many hours with you without a rubber, and your blood was going in and out of my urethra, whatever it's called, my bottom anatomy hole. So I do believe that that is traumatizing, and it's unfortunate that he would have to go through that. I think Cassie was very selfish in that way. God's word says that if you are having relations outside of marriage, then you are sinning against Him and your own body and His word. Yes, it does say that in the Bible. Hey, much love and blessings. Hope everyone having a good day. Hey, you too. Let me get a 360. Oh, yes, God is great. Hi, Bella's real. Not being a crappy person is being a good person. You got that 100%. Hi from Vietnam. Hello from Vietnam. I was thinking about going to Vietnam. Um, I live in the Dominican Republic now for 7 years, but one day I will go on vacation. But I mean, I live where I love and I love where I live, and I just can't get on a plane. I came here on vacation and never left. All right. So again, I said let's talk about Tyler Perry minutes ago. Let's actually get over to Tyler Perry, and then we can go back to Cassie if you guys like. So Tyler Perry, he got himself into a lot of problems, and yeah, he's gay, obviously, but who cares? That's his business. I think him hiding that has got him into big problems. But I think even if he wasn't hiding it, he would have still made some foolish moves because of the money, because of the, power. He has gotten himself into some uncomfortable situations with people who they knew. Those men knew. I mean, come on, they're beautiful men. One of the guys, I think he actually is gay. I don't know, Derek Dixon. I don't know if he really is gay, but he wasn't interested in Tyler Perry. And I have to think the other guy's name, Christian Keys. Remember when Christian Keys went live on Instagram and he went off crying and he's like, and this is a billionaire. You guys respect him. He tried to have sex with me, blah, blah, blah. And he was going off on his live on Instagram. And he kept that up for a couple of days and then he took it down. And his show was renewed. The book that he wrote, All the Queen's Men or something. And now it's actually renewed for a fourth season. And it looks like it's going to be renewed in July. So I believe that he was paid off. And I do believe that Tyler Perry was trying to do damage control. Apparently, every single time one of these situations happen is when Tyler Perry has a few drinks. I believe that he has an issue with booze. I believe that booze has something to do with the decisions that he makes. Too much partying, perhaps. And he's getting close to these actors. He's spending a lot of time with them because remember, he's hands-on. He's doing a lot of the writing. He's doing a lot of the directing, I believe. All of the producing. So he's getting himself into some situations. Now, Derek Dixon is suing him for $250 million. I don't think he's going to get $250 million, but I do believe that it will be settled out of court. And I do believe that Tyler Perry will pay that amount and it will just go silent and we won't hear any more about it, just like the Christian Key situation. But this new guy came out of the woodwork, and this new guy is going off. He's talking about how he's a veteran and how he was great. And he's saying that, he woke up with blood in his butt, all this stuff. And he is coming out the woodwork and he is suing. He wanted to sue everyone, but he's mad because he's saying that he settled for, I forget, 500,000. I don't even think it was 500,000. I think it was $5,000. No wonder he's so angry. And he's saying that Derek Dixon is going for $250 million. And he's like, he's too upset. That's a huge difference in dollars. And he is like, no, it's not going down like that. So now he's really upset. And even just him talking about it, even if he doesn't have any grounds to sue again or do anything, the fact that he is talking about it is really helping to tarnish Tyler Perry's name. Tyler Perry's name just seems like it keeps getting tarnished over and over again, and it seems to me that he needs to just come out the woodwork and talk, because he hasn't talked about any of this stuff. Now he's a billionaire, so he can pay off people, but maybe it's time for him to come out the woodwork and just discuss a few things. Is it anyone's business? At the end of the day, what he does in the bedroom, it's nobody's business. But what he's doing to other people while he's in the bedroom with them, sneaking in beds, touching people, saying, just let me do it, just let me touch you, and trying to slap their bum and try to kiss them and doing all this stuff, that's not really cool. So I do believe that he's gotten himself into a position where he can't even come out and talk, because what is he going to say? It would be an admission of guilt. He can't come out and say they're lying. Too many people have spoken about it now. Too many people have come out the woodwork, and there's going to be more and more. You see, a lot of men who have been touched, taken advantage of from other men, a lot of the guys don't want to talk about it. A lot of the guys, they're embarrassed. They feel like they'll be judged. They don't want to talk about it, especially men who are heterosexual. They'll feel like people would say, well, you must have did something to make them think that you were available. You must have given them a little bit. You got that big role for how long? And so a lot of men don't want to talk about it. And then let's keep it real. There's probably a lot of men out there who actually gave in to Tyler Perry's advances, because if he's doing it so boldly and only a handful of men are coming out and complaining, then there must be other men out there who are on set who actually gave in to his advances. And they're probably embarrassed because they're probably not gay, and maybe Tyler Perry is a bottom. Maybe these guys just close their eyes and use the rubber and put it in his butt. And they're probably like, I'll never have to talk about this. This will never come out. I'm going to get some big roles from this. I'll be on the Oval. I'll get into movies. I'll become a multimillionaire. I'll become famous from this. I just need to do it a couple of times, So I believe hold on. So I believe that you guys go ahead and hit that like button for me, please. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for being here, by the way. Thank you for taking your time to actually sit and click on this video. I know that YouTube suggested so many videos to you, but you clicked on this one. That makes you a real one. Make sure you visit my other channels. I have a crime channel called Fairfax Files, and I also have another YouTube channel called Cerise Fairfax. It's about the Dominican Republic. Visit me over there if you guys are interested in true crime and travel. So yeah, there must have been a lot of other men that we watch act with Tyler Perry that literally gave in to his advances and got opportunities and roles, and also are being pampered, and they're like, okay, well, maybe it was all worth it for them, but they're not going to tell on him because, again, they gave in to his advances. Now, other people who didn't give in to the advances are the ones that are coming out and saying, yo, I'm not going to sell my soul just for a little bit of, intimacy. I don't need the role that much, and that's what it's coming down to now. And there's probably more and more, and a billionaire like Tyler Perry can't pay off everyone. He needs to get himself to a point where he finds a man that he can fall in love with and be a little freaky deaky with and just tell the world about it. Who cares? Look at Clive Davis, or is his name Clyde Davis or whatever? He just rubs me the wrong way. But I do believe that he took advantage of Diddy And I don't think Diddy is saying anything about it. But anyway, there are a lot of people out there in Hollywood that take men out there that take advantage of men. And the men will give in to the advances and for them to get higher up in their industry. So, Tyler Perry can't pay off everybody, but I do believe that there are some people out there who have already got paid off, and people that we watch act every single, on all those shows that he has. So you're looking at, I don't think Medea though, because Medea just, Medea, the actors on there, they'd be like, what, Tyler Perry? They wouldn't put up with that. But the Oval and, the other shows where he has, I think it's Beauty and Black or something, or Black and Beauty. He has some gay guys on those shows. I do believe that there is some swindling going on there as well. Tyler Perry is telling us that he is into men. I mean, it's just obvious to everyone now. And, I think it wouldn't be so bad if he just came out and told everybody, hey, he's gay, he's gay. You don't know the man. No, I don't, Robert. Thank God I've never sat next to you at a bar. Well, you don't know. Maybe we would have some good conversations. But yes, no, I don't know the man. You're right. But I do know that when more than one person is coming out the woodwork, and it starts to seem like there's a lot of sparks, then somewhere there is fire. If you're sitting at a campsite and all of a sudden all these little sparks start to hit the ground, their sparks aren't coming from nowhere. You can just go across your campsite and you will see a big old bonfire. And that is exactly what common sense is called. So we're not talking about sitting at the bar, as Tupac would say, talking to some brother about his car. We're talking about real deal Holyfield and things that are really happening. All these sparks are coming out. You got Christian Keys, if he really was talking about Tyler Perry. And you got Derek Dixon. You got this other guy coming out. You got a lot of people, and there's going to be more that are going to come out, and they're going to start discussing things that they're going to feel comfortable talking about. Even the ones that did give in to his advances. There may be some out there that once they do make their money, and once he does kill off their character, they may even come out and tell the truth. And they may say, yeah, you know what? They did have a little bit of intimacy with him one time in order to get some roles, because that was what they felt like they had to do. It's the old-fashioned casting couch, where women back in the day had to do a lot of things with men. A lot of men back in the day in order to get roles. Well, this is the old thing, and that's just coming in a different package. It's a man doing it with a man. And some guys may come out and say, yes, I did get that role because I did sleep with him, but I'm not gay. And they may even write a book about it. So, we can sit back and we can all talk. But remember, Robert, you clicked on this video. This is an entertainment news channel. So you know how to click off just like you clicked on. I would like you to stay because, hey, you just commenting helps my algorithms no matter what you comment. And also you just chilling here helps my algorithms too. So I invite you to pull up a chair even though it's not a bar. You can sit right there from where you are. But at the same time, this is an entertainment news channel. And that's what I'm doing. I'm talking news about the entertainment industry, right? And usually we don't know the people personally at all, but we can logically make certain assessments and say, looks like there's going to be some fire soon because there's an awful lot of sparks popping out from nowhere. And Tyler Perry, I don't believe that he has done anything except really, well, I shouldn't say that either. Any man that would submit to, why does it matter if someone is gay or not? It doesn't matter if someone is gay. It doesn't matter if someone is gay. Not at all. But all we're saying, hold on. Edward says, any man that would submit to a man is also gay. A real man would never submit to another man. I don't know if I agree with that. I believe there's people out there desperate for dollars, and they will do some things, and it makes them weak. But it doesn't make them gay. Maybe they don't desire a man. They're in a position where there's a billionaire offering them the role of a lifetime, and they're like, I can keep this secret. It's just hit it and quit it, and I got a role that can make me millions. And they weigh the odds and they do it. I don't believe it makes them gay, but I do believe it puts them in a category of, making bad decisions if they're not into men. Now, why doesn't it matter? You said, why doesn't it matter? Let me see who said that. A lot of these messages are being held for review. So Mark said, why doesn't it matter? I don't think it matters if he comes out and says he's gay. Because we are living in a society right now where it's not like Rock Hudson back in the day, in the 60s, or Freddie Mercury from Queen, the group Queen from back in the day. They hit it. What's his other name? George Michael from Wham. They hit it. You could see certain actions and behaviors and stuff like that. George Michael hit it so much that he got caught in a bathroom in a park with a guy, and that's how we found out that he was into men. The people who didn't hide it, Elton John didn't hide it, but yeah, there were people who hid it for many years because they were afraid of losing their fans. They were afraid of women not wanting them any longer. And women are very heavy fans when it comes to a lot of good-looking, sexy men out there, and a lot of Tyler Perry's fans are women just like men. But when you look at guys who have hidden their sexual orientation for so many years, it's because they were afraid to lose their fans or lose respect from their fans. These days, it doesn't matter because people are coming out of the closet more and more and more. Transgenders, everything, right? So it doesn't matter these days if someone admits to being gay because people aren't shunning it the way that they once did back in the day. That's when I say it doesn't matter, because no one's going to hate him. He's not going to lose his billions, He may even gain a whole other brand new crowd of gay men loving him and being like, yeah, he's on our side. Look at Madonna. She's not a lesbian, but she played with that whole queer concept for so many years because she knew that it would get her more fans. And now when her song is played in any pride party, it's like an anthem. Rockers to rockers. Let me see. I will click off. But one question, if your husband or son did that, would you be proud? No. Or you've been so desperate for monies that you don't care about the Most High. You know what, Trevor? You have a very good point. Um, what about bisexuality? Madonna is bi. Yeah, I think Madonna has fooled around with women as well. You're right. Take that one back. But yeah, no, if my son slept with a man for money, um I would be I would be disappointed, because money is not worth your dignity if you are not a person who considers yourself gay. If you're sleeping around just for money with a man that's going to give you position and power, then yeah, it really speaks volumes about where your mindset is. 100%. So yeah, guys, Tyler Perry, I don't think this is it for Tyler Perry. Like I said already, when little sparks are coming out, get ready for the fire. Those little sparks about Diddy was coming out for a very long time, and the feds were like wanting to take him down. But they gave him the wrong charge, and that's why he wasn't charged with RICO. Now, could they be after him still and go after him for something else and bring something else out the woodwork? I don't know. I don't know at all. But I do feel like, there's going to be a lot of people in Hollywood that are going to start getting themselves into more problems due to intimacy. And that is a huge issue, that intimacy, and also substances. People, getting involved with drugs. People are getting involved with sex and doing things. They got themselves to such a good level in life. They made a plan to be an actor or a singer, let's just say an artist, and they hustled to get themselves there, and then they get there, and all of a sudden they tear it down just by doing different things that are completely unnecessary. And I think a lot of people with money and power, they feel like they're standing on top of the world. But even in the Bible, it is written, those who exalt themselves shall surely be humbled. So those who may think that they're sitting, on the pinnacle of success, it's such a tip point, boom, you can fall off and you can go all the way back down. And so I would say that there's some things that are coming out. All these little sparks are starting to really show. And I do believe that Tyler Perry needs to just calm himself down and relax himself. Maybe stop drinking so much if he is drinking. But it just seems like all these complaints come out when he is involved with, having a few drinks and partying and stuff like that. Yeah. So, guys, I want to say thank you so much for joining. Just to wrap up and reiterate, if you're just tuning in now, hello from Bangladesh. How are you? And said hi. Mom is your name? Nugent. So I just want to wrap up about, Cassie. I do believe that, the entertainer is speaking the truth. I do believe that she was on her Aunt Flo on her menstrual cycle when she had intimacy with him and didn't tell him. That's traumatizing, but I don't believe that that's illegal. But I do believe that she knew she had an STDD. And if he's saying he got it from her, he just needs to go to the medical records and figure it out and see what really is going on. All right, guys, thank you so much. Please go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button. I'm so happy that you clicked on this video. Again, I know that YouTube suggested a lot of videos, but you clicked on this one. I don't know if it was the topic, the thumbnail, or if it was the title. But I do want to say thank you so much. My name is Cerise, Sister Cerise, and look out for my next video that I'm bringing out tomorrow. It's going to be on Cassie, and yeah, you guys enjoy yourself. You know, tomorrow is not promised. Don't get yourself into some situations that are crazy. Make good choices out there. Be good to yourself, be good to others, and remember, tomorrow is not promised. So please do yourself a favor and make the best of today. Check me out on my other channels, Fairfax Files if you're into true crime, and also Cerise Fairfax if you're into travel. Take care. Bye.